Cramm Central versus Warriors, about to start in a moment. Looks like they got Rezio back for this one. Looks like no Foster, though. So Kyler Todd will be the starting quarterback. I don't think they have any other options in that position either. Warriors in the white, 1-1 on the year. Victorious last week on the Killer Bees. A loss, however, this week to the X-Dogs. Cramm Central and that Charlotte Hornet-esque purple and blue. 1-0 is Cramm on the year. 9-2 overall in 2022. Warriors coming in this game 4-6 in this year. Cramm, KFFL champions, united the belts with the Demons. But it'll be Cramm Central that comes out in their place this year. False start on Cramm early. Cramm first place in Washington County. Warriors currently sitting at 4th. Warriors with a win, however, have a shot at first, oddly enough. Dunham throws off of Tyler's hands, incomplete. T. Spence making the jump to Cramm Central, a team he played for in Keystone last season.
Ding, ding.
Spence playing against the Warriors for the first time since fall of 2018 when he was on ADR. Dunham throws incomplete. Cramm off to a slow start early. Missed pass, false start, and a drop. Warriors staying in early. Third down. Dumb. Money.
Hey,
Money.
Hey,
Too
press
easy.
play back, baby.
Too
Let's
easy.
go.
Touchdown. Cramm Central.
Chalk it up!
6-0.
Chalk it up!
I know, bro. I'm just saying, nigga.
6-0.
You gonna talk shit about them niggas? Fuck.
Cramm putting it on the Warriors early. Talking about the switch over. Effects of Tyler going to Cramm. He's out of that Warriors defense. And they have given up 34 points in his absence today. After only giving up 12 last week. And most of the year in county last season, not giving up more than 2 scores for the most part. Key part of that defense the last few years, and you can see it's heavily missed today. But facing a wide receiver. Sorry, I stuttered a bit trying to talk and walk. False start on the left side. Take a couple steps back here. Down on the Tiz. Make it 6-0. Keep an eye on a few of these matchups. False start on that left side. Jones moving early.
Watch the ball. Over in my chair. Green chair. Over the by the
Cramm
shed.
leaving off where they left off last week with 23 on Chaos. That margin a big difference right now when it comes to the standings. A win here and they'll keep first place. Drops back. Off of Cramm's hands, incomplete. Suitors making the call on the offensive side. New offensive coordinator for the Warriors this year is Taylor Suitors. With Kyler Todd out there at quarterback. Kyler and Taylor going back all the way to Survivors and the Greencastle Antrim Spartans back in the day together. And together when the Tri-State won, TBT as well. Together now on the Warriors. Kyler, well, is it a flag guard? Don didn't throw one. But Tom does throw one, so flag guard on Todd, and they'll go back. Kyler Todd led the rally for the Warriors against Top Gun back in June. That 13-0 deficit rallied back to win at 14-13. And the final real game between those two. I ain't gonna count the forfeit. That was a joke. Warriors going backwards early. So far today, they are at a minus 33 as a whole. Taking away from the 13 last week, minus 20 overall for the season at 1-1. Puts them below the dogs. Kyler got to hurry up. Complete the Zeke on that right side, but he's pulled right down. Todd came in toward the end of the last game in relief of Alex Foster. Third down. Todd. Batted back like a railroad. Hard to get around Big Ed. Fourth down. Fourth down, no declaration yet from the Warriors. No sign either of a punter. Well, maybe they got one. Looks like a punt is coming, yes. Usually it's been Kyle Marshall in that role, but Marshall has not been around this season. Punt coming, that's not the best one. Tyler's right there. Pitch back to Falkenroth. Falkenroth pitching it back like voice on that side. Back to Falkenroth. Falkenroth down the sideline, and Austin Falkenroth with moves. And not a good punt if you're the Warriors. And what has been a bad day for this team might be getting worse in a minute. And you talk about all the good feelings and momentum of a week ago, and this franchise has just completely lost that. And it all began yesterday when the news broke out of Tyler Spencer's departure from the Warriors after being on the team for 3.5 years. Going all the way back to the spring of 2019 in Greencastle. We talked about that was a major turning point for this franchise. Prior to that, they never won more than 5 games in a year. Every season with Tyler Spencer, with the exception of last season, they won more than 5. Dunham moving up. Pitches it back to Coates, but it looks like a dead ball. Second down coming up for Cramm Central.
Second down, guys. Second down. Here we go. Second and goal.
So you mentioned the first ever meeting between Cramm and the Warriors, albeit the Cramm Corps and the Warrior Corps have met on numerous occasions, going all the way back to the days of the program and the original Warriors. Second quarter starting on the snap. Brock on a snap at Dunham in a second. Steve Dunham throws it up. Easy. That's a touchdown. I know, it's definitely a catch. He's in. 13, 12-0. 12-0 Cramm.
Play football. That's what niggas don't know how to do. The internet. They want to go home and talk about this battle. Hey, where's it? Yes, put the middle. Says you put this off. Oh, that's off. Right in, bruh.
12-0, and the Warriors now, after this margin, we'll see what it is. Look at that point differential. Dunham on that left side. Right to Cramm. Ground zero is starting to make an impact in this league. And that'll be the last time I use that line, I swear. 13-0. Warriors are at a minus 40 for the day. A minus 40 after a plus 13 last week. And 2 games into the post-Tyler era, this team has given up 20 points per game. They were not giving up anywhere near that many with T-Spence. And you're seeing a missing part of that defense right now. And while Tyler has not made as big of an impact quite yet for Cramm, you're seeing a different Warrior team without him today. And you look at the rest of this Cramm team, very TBT flavored team, actually, from the way I look at this squad. All around blunt talk ballers. But they're cramming it up today, and Tyler running out of space.
Oh, that's you! That's you!
Pull right down.
Break down, you got that.
Hey, you gotta get that.
13-0 in the first half. Rivalries evolved over the years. Cramm, as we mentioned, goes all the way back to the program, even longer before the program. This core has its traces all the way back to the PG Hitmen, some to even Gold's Gym, to show you how long this franchise has been in the game. Some form or another, different personnel, but has been a lot of the same core guys been involved in this team for the last 10 years, going way back to that. Some of you mentioned back to the Gold's Gym days. A franchise in itself is about 25 years old. It's not the same people who were there to start. They've definitely evolved over the years on terms of team players and personnel. Even Don Brown was part of this franchise on different occasions back in Gold's Gym.
10 seconds, QB. 10 seconds.
Long time ago, though, very far removed from that era. Almost 15 years since Don's playing days. Todd, right side. Oh, incomplete. Try to get Thorpe on the right side, but it's incomplete. Kyler Todd has been quarterback, different places. Came in for survivors in relief of Daniel Taylor when Taylor got hurt in 2018 during the spring season. Had some reps at quarterback for the Tri-State Spartans going into that 2020 fall season. There was much debate over him and Keenan Pooler in that spot. Keenan ultimately won it. However, Kyler came in and scored a quarterfinal win for them over the program in that 2020 playoffs in 5 overtimes. Throws almost intercepted. Todd QB as well on TBT. He had a handful of starts in 2020 during that fall season with Blunt Talk. Went 3-1 as a quarterback. Wins over the Green Machine. Beat the Browns twice. Sole loss came to the Killer Bees in a game where TBT only had about 10 guys all day total. Todd helped quarterback Blunt Talk to a win over the Browns in that semifinal back in 2020. Scoring a postseason win in both leagues. One of only 2 QBs to do it that year. To that right side, incomplete. The other being his teammate Chris Boone, who did the same on TBT, winning the championship game as a starter. And also got 2 playoff wins in Washington County that fall season against Ruckus and the Spartans. Boone and Todd actually faced each other in that Showtime Spartans game. The only 2 quarterbacks to score a postseason win in both leagues that fall season in this area. Long day for the Warriors. They got their 2 today. They had 1 last week. The only team left on the rotation for this round of 10 games is Chaos. I'm on the field. Tyler's on the field too. I turned around the right time. T Spence for 6. Dial it up from the 301 to the 717. And with that, it's 19-0 Cramm. And we will stay with this game as long as it's competitive. Warriors now sitting at a -46 for today. And that's -34 for the season. $19-0. Cramm. Cramm, 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 Cramm.
Where'd you come from, bro? Outside. Somebody said somebody right for you.
20-0 in the first half. Warriors now at a -47 for today. They have been outscored in 2 games, 47-0. After winning 25-12 on the Bees last week. Regardless, with a loss here, the Warriors cannot fall any further than 4th. They'll still have a technical 2-game advantage on the Killer Bees, both the win and the tiebreaker. Point differential, I have to do the math. Right now, I think the point differential between the 2. Warriors be sitting at a -34, whereas the Bees sitting at a -25. So the Bees could possibly get 4th place next week. We'll see. Todd to the left side. Complete. Lodge Keys. Another great talent. Running out the field. He might get the first Warrior score of the day. Yes, he will. Flag, however. Tom called a flag, however. So touchdown will stand. I think it's a taunting penalty on Keys. So the Warriors Conversion coming for Todd. I'm going to fire it up at complete. 14-point game. Warriors on the board. They're now at a minus 41 for the day. Needs about 2 more scores if you want to try to tie it up. Third for a lead. So Cramm Central back on the field. 3 touchdowns in on their end. 1 for the Warriors.
We got run straight.
That's who's in. Yeah, you already know. Like, you know, if you think you got that little thing in your head, you think it's like a screen, run to him. Fuck him up.
So you see him go.
We're going to go on the opposite side here
Who though? We gotta have to.
of what this Warriors team, who this Cramm team is.
You see how wide? Yeah, how wide? You don't think? I mean, yeah. If you don't think it's gonna go to your way.
Yeah, no matter what.
20-6 here in the second quarter.
Still with the linebacker on that, probably, too, right? Rush 3 on 2. Yeah. For that swing. Yeah, I did. Bro, I was like, I got the fucking Who's taunting?
All right. So they call it taunting on Lige Keys when he sucked the ball out at the end.
But that's taunting, though. But if we keep letting it go, somebody will end up bitching about it.
You got it. Yeah, it's that day was coming on. Look at that.
Wow.
You just been walking through. You just been walking through.
Incomplete.
Hey, you shouldn't have leaped, boy.
Can't get it back wrong.
Says you want it for him? Can I get one?
I'm gonna take next.
All right. All right.
He needs to sub after that, and that's probably a foot long, not a 16.
That thing was crazy. I don't know why he did a little gallop at the end though.
There's a little.
Yeah, he should
You go, boy. Yep. Hey, dude, you got fucking hurt.
It's good coverage. You can say faster. Hey, Damien. Left it at the house.
Dunham. Complete Spencer. Pitches it right back to Abe. Another former Warrior cutting up.
It's all good. It's all good.
Played center for them for a bit.
I thought you were going to dip. You didn't even dip and you got hurt.
Tyler just keeps pitching it all over the place.
I saw you think about it.
30 seconds, I'm good, man.
Yeah, this is it. 4 next week.
I think 2 of them are us, right?
Yeah, your other doubles next week. Complete Cramm on that left side. Cramm's still running. He's out of bounds. Steve's on fire right now. He's been that guy, though. He's been that guy up in York.
When Ant described us, he said, yo, he's like, boom, without the ego. I was like, yo, get the fuck out of here. We need him. Is that like Ant said? He's like, boom, without the ego. It's like, yeah.
He can ball.
Boom.
He's, I think Steve's in his early 30s, at least late 20s, somewhere around there.
I like this guy.
He can go. Like, coming over from York 8-man, he's made a good transition in the 9-man in this league.
That guy's a fucking dog. He's a fucking dog. He's a dog. I tried to get him too.
A lot of local.
I don't remember you, bro. That was an answer. I hit the girl a couple times so I get your name. No shit.
Yo, the penalty happened right here. He marked it from back. Bro, oh my God. Even top of that where the foul happened.
14-point game, final game of the day. After this, we will head out, and we'll be back next week for 4 more. X-Dogs Bees, X-Dogs also taking on Cramm Central. Warriors Chaos as well, and timeout Cramm. First charged. Killer Bees also going to be taking on Cramm Central next week.
We scored 3 times?
So Cramm's got 2 games.
Joey, what's the score? Did we score 3 times?
Yeah, 20-6 is the score.
We scored 3 and missed 1.
Yeah.
didn't have to jump. He was nowhere near. He was on your back.
Here we go. Dunham. And complete.
Hey, Nate, you faster than that. Pick them legs up.
Hey, he didn't
gotta
go to
extend.
the
I know. He better.
Hey,
Hey, T-Rex.
Incomplete.
Hey, extend.
hey, call somebody
You're doing short arms.
Call somebody out. Ask him to go back in.
Make one out.
Third down.
You good?
Are you all right? Your leg all right? Oh, yeah. I'm so used to
I know. He's doing that. He's doing that.
Here I come, bro.
He called for that joint too.
Moving, doing that.
He did for that bitch there.
I know. I'm not used to it.
The baseball player, bro. Spin that shit right there.
Dunham. Smith's trying to pitch it back to Steve.
Oh, look at block.
But Eli with a great pull.
Is that a first or we already passed this?
Is that first?
They're actually fortunate because they could have lost the first there
We're
instead.
in jail with each other. That's why.
I know.
Hey. No, so we passed the ball back to you.
Hey, he gonna burn you out. Fourth down. It's fourth down. What down is this? What down is this? Who down is this? First down.
That should be first. Yeah, it's across the line.
Hey, that's first down. That's first down.
No, we already passed the line.
We had it on the play before the penalty.
What down is this?
They took us this far back, though.
What down is this?
No, I know. It should have started up there. Yeah, so there's four. No,
The first down's up here, bro.
Fourth down now. I guess it wasn't a first.
We gotta get to that cone.
4th and 19.
I think even Cramm got confused.
You back.
But Don took y'all way back there. We were supposed to start right where the safety is. Y'all would have had the first. Yeah, he spotted. Yeah, he spotted the foul one.
Hey, Don, you fucked this up, bro.
Dunham will go for it. Fearless tenacity. And incomplete. 4-point T-Spence. Great matchup there. And a great stop for the Warriors. Just what they needed to get back in this game. So they finally get a stop on Cramm. Cramm was 3 of 3 prior to that. 3 of 4 now. Warrior offense will head back on the field. They're so far 1 of 3. Trying to get 2 of 4, so at least they can pull within a score. Todd found keys earlier. Warriors down by 14 to Cramm. And what had a lot of game of the week anticipation. Remember, coming into this week, both teams were 1-0. We thought Warriors could handle business with X-Dogs, but we were proven wrong there. Big showdown will be next week when Cramm and the X-Dogs face off. Dogs will have the Killer Bees first, however. Bees will also be playing Cramm after that. Followed by Chaos and Warriors to end the day next week. That'll be the late game. Bees and Dogs the early game. In between, as mentioned, we'll have X-Dogs Cramm and Bees and Cramm. So all 5 teams will be in action for the first time next week. In 4 games. Cramm playing the doubleheader. X-Dogs playing the doubleheader. Bees playing the doubleheader. Those 3 against each other. While Chaos and the Warriors will be solo, as the Warriors have completed 3 of their games so far after this one, and Chaos has as well. Both with double headers in the first few weeks. Chaos 2 last week. Warriors with 2 this week. Take a look at the standings. 5th place right now is the Killer Bees at 0-2. They're sitting with a margin of minus 26 on the season. 4th place at the moment is the Warriors at 1-1. They are currently sitting with a margin of minus 28 on the year. 3rd place is the X-Dogs at 1-1. Their margin is down to a plus 12, so they have that on the Warriors, plus the win by a margin for that 3rd place spot. Tied to his right. Throws it up. Incomplete. And it looks like a receiver for the Warriors is hurt. Second place right now is Chaos at 2-1 on the year. Chaos sitting at 2-1 with a plus 24 margin. Wins over the Bees and the X-Dogs, only lost to Cramm Central. In first place is Cramm Central at 1-0. They'll have their third and fourth games next week. Currently 1-0 with a plus 18 margin. A win here, we'll get them at 2-0 of that plus margin. And a de facto game and a half lead on Chaos. A loss here for Cramm would give Chaos first. And it would pull Cramm down to third in the tie with the X-Dogs. Warriors, if a win here, could actually leap to second place. And depending on how much they can come back against Cramm, they could get first. But that's a long shot right now because of the early deficit. However, they were at a minus 47 entering this second quarter for the day. Complete, middle. Pulled right down. I'm trying to get a score here to pull within one. 1 minute and running here in the final 2 minutes and a half. Cramm up by 14 on the Warriors. 3 scores early for Cramm Central. Bad field position being a problem for the Warriors, allowing Cramm to start in the red zone on one of those possessions. Cramm only failed to score one time. That was on that last drive where they did not convert on fourth down from midfield, and because of that, the Warriors have some promising field position before half, and the score here, as we mentioned, will make it a one-score game. And it's a lot different story than what we saw in the first half, or first quarter rather, which could not have been any worse for the Warriors. But we look at it, they got the athletes to compete at the receiver position. And they still got some pass catchers there. It's just the problem is with this team, as we are seeing, is just a lot of incoherency. Motions. Go back up. Warriors go back. Incomplete. Could have been 6. Set at 0. Second down coming up. A little bit of former Warriors on this Cramm team. Tyler Spencer, as mentioned, from 19 to about 22 on the roster. Ed Guerrero there in 21. Brock Klein, one of the originals from 2016 to 2020. Abe was there in 2018. Cody Strakonski there from 2020 to 21. Collar Todd running it right now through this Cramm. Look at this. Out of bounds he goes. But a great run by Kyler Todd, who is trying to put this team on his back right now. He has moved the ball, in my opinion, a little bit better than what Foster was doing earlier. So it seems like he might be an answer. We'll see for how long. Josh Floyd, as we mentioned, not here today. So for the Warriors, third game, third different starting quarterback. It was Floyd in the opener against the Killer Bees. Alex Foster made his return, first start in roughly a year and a half was the last time we saw Foster, spring of 21. He came out against the Spartans. Warrior quarterback during that fall in 19 season came in for Cody Snavely mid-season. Led the Warriors to the semis that year. Kyler Todd, who got a comeback win last year on Top Gun, and now for the Warriors. Complete right side to Hernandez. And Sensei pulled down. Final game of the day. 4 more, as we mentioned, next week. Kicking it off, the first game of the day. Next week at 9 a.m. It'll be the X-Dogs versus the Killer Bees, followed by Killer Bees and Cramm Central at 10:15. Cramm Central and the X-Dogs at 10:15. Killer Bees and Cramm after that 11:30. And then we'll end at 1 o'clock with Warriors and Chaos. One of 2 weeks this season, in the regular season, that we'll have 4 games. Little high, the keys. Could have been intercepted easily. 3rd down for Todd and the Warriors.
Seconds in the huddle. 10 seconds.
10 seconds. Todd. Sack. Hodja coming in. Talk about the evolution of this rivalry, so to speak. First meeting was back in the fall of 16. It was the program back then beating the Warriors in decisive fashion. That was the case in every meeting between these two, whether it be spring of 17, fall of 17, spring of 18. They had a major showdown. First big matchup in the game. Both of them were fighting for a playoff spot. Program beat the Warriors to knock them out of the playoffs, 38-0. Program got another win the next fall. The Warriors finally would get a win on Program with the move of Tyler Spencer coming over, 14-8, or 8-0 rather, in that spring of 19. Todd running, Brock Klein chasing. We've seen this before. Brock and Kaja, no worse nightmare for a QB run at them than those two. Just demonstrated by that pull down there. The two had an interesting duel in the spring of 19, as mentioned. Warriors beat the Program 8-0 in Tyler Spencer's Warrior debut. In the second meeting, however, the Program beat the Warriors 14-10 before the Warriors won the final game in the wild card round of the playoffs by a result of 10-0. Warriors would win the next few meetings, fall in 19, 2020, the final meeting between the two.
No, that's 8. Hold up.
Cramm didn't play, really, in 2021.
I said,
So the Demon side started coming out. They wouldn't meet the Warriors, however, till last season when they beat them 19-0 for the first time and 8-7 the second time. Beat Mike with a sack there, and that's very beneficial if you are
Hey, last play.
the Warriors.
Last play.
Cramm keeps trying to go deep, but they keep falling short.
We can do it again.
Let him stay. Stay, Cash. Let him stay.
Heat here in Ashland Township Park is on a whole other level. Probably our last warm weekend like this. Early forecast for next Saturday has us a high of 68.
Sorry.
It's all good, my man. I don't know if the old lineman sees you either sometimes.
I think I was only out there for 3 plays.
You chased the tide down. Complete left side.
Go, turn up, turn up. Go.
Keep going. Pitch back, dead ball. They want a hold, but I don't think one's coming. At least I don't see the flag. Thompson says half. So at halftime, the score is Cramm Central 20, Warriors 6. And Cramm Central, after the hot start, we talk about it, 20 points in the first quarter. They've gone a little cold in the second. Warriors got down the field and scored, had a chance just now to do the same thing again. However, they were unable to. Todd pulled down on 4th down, being chased by Cooper and Klein. And with that at halftime, Cramm Central with a 20-6 lead on the Warriors.
We still have like 4 scores right now. Your drop touchdown, Ash drop touchdown. We should be motherfucking 35-6 right now. 35-7. Hey.
And Cramley crushing it the only way they know how to. Give credit to this team in the first half.
And DDs already.
We need more out of you.
You'll have Ed running the mile in 5.5 minutes.
If you get a tutty and fuck it up because you got a flat guard, I'm going to break my foot up in your John Hawk.
All right, Kaja, chill. Referees having a seat over there. Warriors regrouping down there. We talk about it. Recap of the results so far today. X-Dogs 27, Warriors nothing. However, X-Dogs not so fortunate the second game. They fell to Chaos 34-19. And right now, Cramm Central leads the Warriors 20-6 at halftime. We got a whole half of football still to play here at Antrim Township Park in Greencastle, Pennsylvania. Warriors and Cramm Central. Cramm in the purple, Charlotte Hornets colors from back in the day. Some YAFFL representation, Ground Zero in Vice City. Warriors in the white jerseys. First meeting between Cramm Central and Warriors, but like we said, these franchises go back a long way.
I mean, yeah, so you want to go outside? Let's go middle?
Yeah, you go outside.
You got it, nigga.
Plant,
Hey, come on, you been killing. I don't hear this shit. Get it.
Hey, all this shit in the chat, nigga. You lost 205 pounds. Murdering, bro. Got 6 touchdowns. Got 2 touchdowns in you got taller than bitch. You got 2 touchdowns in every fucking league you played in.
Take your compliment, bro.
Yeah, take your compliment.
How does 20+ yard catch up and play?
I might be tripping.
But I do not know how y'all play all these football. I'm not all. The older and older I get, and the more ashes I'm the drive. When I was in my 20s, I didn't mind driving. I actually like it. But now I'm just like, I don't need to drive. My body's keeping me in shape. As long as I keep working.
Still at halftime here in Antrim. Referees standing by. They're waiting for the second half to begin.
I need surgery on this ankle. Bro, every year I want to stop. Then every year, here comes that motherfucker. As long as I stay starting, you gotta come play.
Waiting for the whistle to blow to start our second half here in Greencastle.
I do want to do one thing this year, though. That's what I keep trying to tell people. Like, yo, yeah, bro, this year, let's go.
Whistle blown, second half underway. Warriors trying to rally here in the second half. We'll see what they can do.
Hey, I'm in for you.
Cramm Central Gorillas
Let's go, D.
making it happen. That's the full team name. We call them Cramm, just keep it short and simple.
So I had to do an estimated military.
Let's go, D.
Whatever I earned.
Defense. Got him up.
Sun's on the side. I think we could actually face this way. We haven't faced this way in all day. But the sun is going high enough above us that I think we can finally actually be on this sideline going down to this way. Because we've been on the sideline all game. New QB is what I'm hearing. Let's see. We running Thorpe here? Yeah, they're running Thorpe. So Shane coming in a Q to the right. Whole different matchup here. Thorpe going to be pulled right down by Falkenroth. Austin Falkenroth, one of the better flag pullers you'll find in this region. His last year in a 9-man, he's grown tremendously. First came on the scene in 19 with his team Impact and Clash of York 1. Joined up with the Wolverines last year when they came to KFFL. We've seen him on Mercenaries. We've seen him pop up all over. One of the better 8-man defensive players, transitioning to one of the better 9-man defensive players right now is Austin Falkenroth. Remember, he had that key interception on Matt Eisenberg in that semifinal last year at KFFL. Almost got Thorpe here, too. Incomplete. O'Shea ain't getting time. Austin's right back there. I'm still talking about him from the last time he was there, and he's already back here. You see the rush. You see the motor. And Thorpe is just not getting any time. He's not getting any space. He ain't getting nothing.
Yeah, that was.
Thorpe, left side, Keys. Pulled right down, nowhere to go still. Fourth down for the Warriors. That's, we'll see. Chaos certainly making a case earlier for that too. I would say Chaos and Cramm Central, probably the two best teams right now in Washington County by far. We're seeing what they've done to X-Dogs and Warriors today. Kaiser on Thorpe, nowhere to go. I don't understand it. Cramm Central ball. Thorpe tried to run it himself, but nowhere to go. Cramm will take over. We'll go back here.
Okay. They got that first. Way behind.
You are 3 yards behind 2 yards behind the cone.
Hey, it's fine. It's slanted. It's slanted. It's fine. It's fine.
Bro, this is not even.
It's okay.
Neither one of the cones is a first down.
It's all right.
Look at where he's standing.
That is insane.
I got it.
Defense.
How you gonna mark that down?
Literally not a first down.
I got it.
It's literally not.
Look at the ball.
What are you talking about?
That's right. Turnover.
That's what I'm saying. You can't mark it behind the line and then say they got it.
Let them talk. Let the refs talk. My bad. Let the refs talk. Look at this cone. We going this way? Hey, we go. Hey, offense. On the field.
Turnover. Don rolls turnover and Cramm ball. So we'll go back here behind the Cramm offense.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
First time we've been behind them this week.
I got 2 out there.
We've been on the sideline. They've been going down this direction.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, you guys
Dunham busting out that Impact jersey.
Yeah.
A lot of YAFFL representation. They'll be starting their 9-man next season. And what has been a growing movement up in that area is a push for 9-man to be a part of it. They got a lot of competitive teams up there already. Baez Auto, Gusto Land, 717 Elite. Throws that up. That's going to be incomplete. Could have been an interception, but it's incomplete. Dunham almost threw a pick to Thorpe there, and that could have turned this whole game around for the Warriors. 2nd and goal. And Cramm has gotten a little ahead of themselves, I feel like, with this game. They got off to a hot start early, but they have definitely cooled off within the last few quarters of this game. That defense, though, is still going 100 miles per hour. It's the offense, which has always been an issue for this franchise going way back, but they've got a fair share of great offensive QB talent this year. Whether it be Chris Boone and KFFL, the Demons, their sister team, having Sean Parker and Kevin Clancy, or even Steve Dunham right now, who's an upcoming name in this 9-man scene. Steve rolling all around, moving. Offsides on the defense, it don't matter. They can't stop Steve in the air or on the ground right now.
Oh, he's got a flag. Yeah, but they're saying about taking it. Hunt it. I don't know. I don't know who the captain is. You want the penalty or not, or the line to gain? Take it. The gain or the yard? I don't know where he marked him.
Jesus. All right. Third and goal. 2 on that side. Dunham, but he's got B Mike. False start coming on Cramm. Looks like it's Jones on the left side on another false start. False start on the offense, 3rd and goal. Which, you know, I don't think that's a bad thing necessarily for Cramm. You always want to have some space in the red zone. A little easier to score the further back you are, as weird as that sounds. When you get tightly in there, it's a little bit harder to make space. Dunham. Sack, Brandon Michael. Warriors defense has stepped up in a major way in these last quarter and a half of play. 4th down. Got to give it up for this Warrior defense, though. They have taken a team that averaged, at the end of the first quarter, they were averaging roughly about 21.5 points per game for the season. And they have held them to 0 points in the last quarter and a half. After having 43 points in 5 quarters, Cramm Central has no points in a quarter and a half. Could be longer depending on this score. Or this play, I should say. Let's take a step back. Dunham. Rush coming. Brandon Michael. Nope. Connor Todd instead. Oh! Should be a turnover sack either way. Warrior ball. And give credit to the Warriors defense. After giving up 47 points in the first 5 quarters of today's football, they buckled down and give up none in the last quarter and a half. Defense starting to adjust a little bit. Talk about changing guard, changing leadership. We saw the slow start defensively, and now we're starting to see the defense pick up a little bit. But the offense has to do something. We talk about it. Thorpe's in now. That's the 4th different quarterback the Warriors have had this year. And we're only 3 games in. Floyd had a full game. Foster had 3 quarters. Todd had about 3. And now Thorpe's coming in. Here in the second half, try to do something. We've seen Thorpe in mop-up duty for the Warrior before. Remember, back in 2020, a couple times they were up late in games. He came in for some rips, including once, I believe, against the program. Not getting enough time. He's got to make some move with his legs. He's trying to throw. I'll give him props. Kodja with the sack. Thorpe might be better off trying to go run first here, because the problem is, and I'm saying it is, the Warriors just don't have the matchups right now against the secondary, and on top of that, that O-line is starting to get worked late in the game by this Cramm D-line, who's always been one of the better units in the Washington County Flag Football League. I would advocate for Moats at QB. I'd advocate for that. I've seen him throw it. He'd surprise you out there.
10 seconds, Q.
I think Moats would be the next big step there. O'Shane's got to watch this. Well, that's a safety. 22. Now, if that's to say, O'Shane's got to watch that line, and he saw why. 22-6. Twenty-two to 6. So Cramm back on the board of a safety. And the Warriors talk about minus 16. Right now, plus that 27, they're now at a minus 43 for the day, which puts them at minus 30 for the year. Thorpe looks like he's got to punt it as well. Mentioned no Kyle Marshall for the Warriors so far this year. That's been a missing piece as well, is that special teams. It was a very well-rounded team a few years ago. They got pieces now. It's just seems like that offensive side of the ball has just come to a complete stop. They'll say dead ball. Tyler wants an illegal procedure penalty, but he ain't going to get it. Sun is back in our eyes here, facing this way this time. So we'll go back on the sideline and go the opposite direction. Yeah, and the debate went long into the night.
Y'all been playing football way too long. I've been in this shit for like 9, 10 years, and I still don't know. I just try not to get no penalties, and I don't talk shit and fight. I stay to myself. Make sure I get a couple seconds. Exactly. Hey.
So Cramm will start way back there. Sun's facing this direction, or else we would be back behind them.
Ain't no reason to talk to them, bro.
Dunham.
They put a team together for nothing. They're going home.
Nowhere to go.
I'm gonna block, yo.
What's the block?
And right now,
Two receivers off.
Cramm's offense, as we mentioned, has gone very stagnant in the last 2 quarters. Warriors defense has held up after an awful first quarter. They have outscored Cramm since the first, 6-2, but that bad first quarter has been the difference. Right now, that O-line having some issues keeping Dunham protected. Dunham again, that rush coming. Sacked again.
Hey,
Just shy of the end zone.
come off, come off.
Defensive line, always one of the better units for the Warriors, no matter what the unit was.
Hey, we still got to get up to
They've
this.
had many guys over the years.
It's third though, right?
Those faces have changed. You go way back to the early days. We have Brock Ross and Joe on the line, Cam as well. Sean Moats came in, joined that unit. Over time, more guys got involved in that defensive line. Carlos Sanchez came in, Chad Claggett as well, at different times. Right now, they got some rushers. You know, Big Mike back in his Bulldogs days. Did some rushing as well for Miller Lite at times. Kyler Todd, one of the better inside edge rushers. Brandon Michael, there was a whistle. I don't know what's going on now. Dead ball. Brandon Michael, who's become one of the better edge rushers in recent years. Talk about the run he had on Top Gun in 2017, including 4 sacks against the program on Keenan Cole. James Smith coming up from FOE on the rush for them. Great talent on that D line when you really look at it. Between Michael Lee, Todd, and Smith.
Hey guys, don't come down this way.
D-line always been a unit for the Warriors that has thrived, no matter who's been there. Dunham's going to have a safety of his own. 22-8. And for the third, maybe fourth straight drive, Cramm has not scored. Warriors outscoring them 8-2 since the first quarter, but the score is 22-8.
Count them up. We need 9 on the line.
Come on, I'm out here gunner. All right. I'm gunner. Who else?
So another safety, second in this
We
game.
need some speed out here. We need some.
So each side exchanging safeties in this third quarter to make it 22-8.
Speed out here. Speed out here. Need speed out here.
And if you're the Cramley, you got to wonder, like, what has happened to this offense?
6, 7.
First half, it was easy. 20 points in the first quarter, really. I shouldn't say first half. I should say first quarter if we're really going to be honest about it. I should probably be going up this way. Sun's there, so I'm going to go in between. Cash will punt it.
Yeah, take out the little guy.
Cash almost false started on the punt.
Oh, don't put him online like that. That nigga should get lit.
Oh, get him for that loss.
Back it goes, Zeke. Zeke could make something happen here. Cutting around. Down he goes. Great return by Isaiah Keys.
In my foot.
Was he and the rest of the Warriors receivers got to find space to give Thorpe an open target. Warriors will be back on the field. They're down by 14 here in the fourth quarter, I do believe. We're finally in the fourth. We mentioned that they have outscored Cramm Central 8-2 in the last two quarters. The difference being 3 touchdowns led up. Perhaps the biggest difference being that punt. That really hurt the Warriors early in the game. Gave Cramm a 1st and goal, and they have not been able to really recover after all that.
10 seconds, QB.
In terms of offensive performance, just throwing that up. Aaron throw, it's picked off by Boyce. So Thorpe picked off, and maybe the Warriors can get another safety. Can we see a third safety in this half? I think the record for most I've seen in a flag game was 9. Baez Auto scored 9 safeties. That was in the indoor 7-man Righteous Servant tournament last year. That Baez Auto ultimately won.
I'm not worried about that. I'm talking about
Dunham and Company, I do something. Cramm is becoming all kinds of discombobulated right now. On the other hand, Cramm here is making a good catch and still trying to get something going. They're going to sub in Klein for Strakonski rather for Klein. Those two combination together. Played on the line together with TBT and Clash of York 1. Had victories over Rampage and Bullets. Brock, Cody, and Brock's brother Joe on the line that day for TBT. Dunham. And this rush just keeps getting by, but Dunham is making a miss. Oh, that's not the best pitch either. That could have gone real south for Cramm Central.
Hey! Take Zion
And this game has gone south for this offense. We talk about it, no points since the first quarter. The only score was a safety on Thorpe. But even then, that was immediately followed up by a safety on Dunham.
Stay fresh, man. We
got
it earlier.
Thorpe picked a minute ago. Cramm is back on the field. They're having a hard time. They are just not situated right now. And while the score is good, 14-point lead, it's not been a very impressive last 2 quarters for Cramm Central.
Yep, free play.
Free play, no whistle. Steve gonna fire the Ant.
Come on.
Oh, Ant dropped it.
Beautiful.
Ant had 6. Could have broken that streak there. But instead, bad drop if you're Ant. However, via offsides on the Warriors, via replay, a first down.
Bro, next play.
Three's up there today?
Some of you anybody you're good.
No, I'm talking about the
Yeah. Niggas are probably still on fire.
Yeah.
At this park.
It is. They just haven't been throwing flies.
Yeah, I know, but that's the only reason why niggas still do it.
Yeah.
If not, niggas be on it.
Well, they should anyway. We're in a public park.
It'd be different if it's at the
First down, he said.
What? First?
Complete.
That's a fucking
Hold
dot.
down, first down.
That's a fucking dot, bro. That's a fucking dot.
I don't know what they're pointing. Lee's arguing with Tom, but Tom says that's offside, so it'll be a first down for Cramm Central. And right now, they are making this look easy.
Hey, it's all right. Let's go. It's all right.
Puck is on the line, and it'll be a first down for Cramm Central, and we'll keep walking up the field. Harry.
Everybody watch the ball.
Man, fuck, man. Hey, my
Relax, relax. Hey.
back, bro.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, they just told me about it too early. I forgot about it.
The sidelines just got to be, anyone who's on this sideline has got to be careful with dribble. They're not here like the first game, though, so usually they're not here till 10. First down, 2 sticks.
What do you like on Saturday night?
Throwing it across the middle, Tyler. Big game. Tyler Spencer.
Let's go, baby.
First down.
Let's go.
First and goal for Cramm Central. Trying to put an exclamation mark on this victory. Talk about it before. Tyler against his former teams. He played against Broadax with ADR for the first time in spring of 18. Defeating Broadax in that one, 26-6. He left ADR a year later, joined up with the Warriors. His first game against ADR was a 34-3 win by them. ADR had 11 guys that day, but they put together a performance. 34-3 on the Warriors and 41-0 on the Knights for a combined 74-3 effort that day. Just shows you where ADR was at that time. Spence took on his former KFFL team, the Killer Bees, for the first time at Winter Chiller 19, a 28-0 TBT win. Took on the Misfits for the first time with the Warriors in a 41-6 loss last season. But a big play a few moments ago, and you know it feels good for him today to get that win. Just can hold up. Hernandez almost had him. Oh, 101! Oh, incomplete. Oh, what a battle. That was a battle. That was a battle. Second and goal. Final game of the day. We'll be back next week for 4 more. We'll recap the game so far for you. X-Dogs 27, Warriors nothing. Chaos 34, X-Dogs 19. Cramm currently leads the Warriors 22-8 in the fourth quarter. They had a hot start, did Cramm. 20 points in the first quarter. They've only had 2 since. That was a safety on O'Shane Thorpe. They've gotten down here twice, though. Including now, look at there, and Cash just swimming right in. The former Warrior as well out there. Cash, Nate, Tyler, Ed, Cody, Brock, Ashton as well, all former Warriors. Ave, 8 of them on this team right now. Damian Coates would be 9th. He did play with the Warriors in 5-man back in 2020. They were a semi-finalist to the Bees in that one. Dunham. Batted down by Todd, incomplete. And I don't know what's happened to this Cramm offense, but they've just stagnated. They have had a miserable last 3 quarters. They are been scoreless for almost 3 straight quarters. After a 20-0 start, they've been outscored 8-2 since. And if you're the Warriors, you got to be frustrated at that. To hold this team scoreless in 3 quarters in a row almost, safety aside, and to not win this game has just got to be a stinger. Miserable first quarter aside, this defense stepped up in major ways to get stops in this last 3 quarters. But maybe it's too little too late. Dunham. End zone. Great defense by Thorpe. 1 ant. Change of possession. Warrior will keep the ball again. And for Cramm Central, they may end up finishing this game out with 3 straight scoreless quarters and 5 straight drives without a score. And if you're the Warriors, the one frustration has got to be that quarterback position right now. We talk about the carousel that has been for the Warriors over the last few years. In the beginning, as we said, this team way back when they started, it was Quay Barton the first game. They switched to Ryan Rao mid-season. He was there for a year before John Shobe took over for 2 seasons. It was 6 different guys in 2018. Before C.J. Kretzer became the guy to start in 19. Before that, switched to Cody Snavely that same season. Before Foster came in and took it. And then Kevin Clancy came in 2020, became the QB. He held that spot for 2 seasons, but Foster as the backup. He did not return. Snavely not on the roster. Foster there today, but not the best performance against the X-Dogs. He had a rough time at the position. Kyler Todd came in. He's been one of the guys back there. Tyler Spencer, another guy back there for the Warriors. Remember, he QB'd them to a win. 2 wins, in fact. Once on the Bees, 1 on Top Gun. Thorpe is the guy right now, and maybe he's the guy the rest of the season. We'll see. Josh Floyd not here today. They started with Alex Foster. 3 quarters of Foster, 3 of Kyler Todd, and now 2 of O'Shane Thorpe. And Thorpe's going to run option middle. And that might be what I've been saying is his best bet, is to just use his running ability. You got to be a wild card against this kind of a defense right now, especially when you don't have the timing and chemistry down with the offense. We mentioned Thorpe, usually a wide receiver DB, not usually at that QB position. Just saying earlier, he needs to use his wheels more than his arms. I ain't going to doubt his throwing ability, but when you're coming in like this, it's best to take advantage of the defense not having ever guarded you before at that position. It's a lot different to guard a runner at the quarterback position than it is to guard a wide receiver after a catch. And compared to Todd and Foster, who are mobile in their own ways, they're both very mobile quarterbacks. Thorpe just a little more quicker. And if he can get in the end zone here, he can make it interesting. Thorpe. Try to fake it. Coates pulled him. Guerrero got him, if not Coates. Surrounded by Coates, Cooper, and Guerrero. Clock running down.
I know you fucking throw it.
Mentioning Warriors. Well, that's game. Tom just called it, I think.
There was only 40 seconds left.
That's game. So no stopping the clock for the Warriors. Tom will call it, and that'll do it. Cramm Central 2-0 on the year. Oh, and Elijah just took a shot. Already had a rough enough day. 2-0 on the day. Or 2-0 on the year is Cramm. First place overall. Point differential for the season of a plus 18 margin. They defeat the Warriors 22-8. We'll recap today, take a look at the standings and preview next week. In the beginning of the day, it was X-Dogs 27, Warriors nothing. Chaos 34, X-Dogs 19 in the second game. And just now, 22-8, Cramm Central over the Warriors. In spite of the Warriors outscoring Cramm 8-2 in the final three quarters. Take a look at the league standings real quick. Fifth place, as mentioned, Killer Bees. They're 0-2 right now. They're sitting with a point differential of minus 26 on the year. Fourth place right now at 1-2 will be the Warriors. Lost today, 2 losses today, minus 41 on the day for them. Will bring them down to a minus 28 on the year. So 1-2. Third place is X-Dogs at 1-1. They're sitting there right now at a plus 12. Second is Chaos at 2-1. They're at a plus 28. And first place, number 1 in the league, Cramm Central, 2-0. They got the head-to-head. They got as many wins as Chaos. They have less losses than Chaos. And in terms of point differential, Chaos has a plus 28, Cramm a plus 18. And that's your standings to end this week. Take a look at the Cramm sideline as we get ready to wrap this one up. And we'll talk about next week's games. The action, the coverage all kicks off at 9 a.m.